What is going on today, people? This is my second video this weekend. Normally I only put out one video a weekend, but today I have something I really want to talk about because it's really exciting and I'm really pumped about it. So let's get right to that, shall we? This last week was E3, that's the Electronic Entertainment Expo. It happens out in Los Angeles. And a lot of video game news, gameplay trailers, stuff like that has come out. And in particular, there have been 3 that have caught my mind, and I want to break those down to you, sort of share my thoughts on those. So the first one is Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man trailer officially came out last year at E3, but this year we got our first look at the gameplay trailer, which shows basic elements of the gameplay, like combat, movement, special features about the game, anything like that. Now, for the Spider-Man combat system, a lot of people have been noticing this. It's been commented on several times. The gameplay in terms of combat for the Spider-Man game closely resembles that of the Arkham games. You got your combat flows, you got implementation of gadgets into the combat. There's a lot of more free-flowy sort of acrobatic combat, and it just sort of flows together. It looks like a really, really fun game. For wall crawling and web slinging around the city, you can just simply run along the walls, or you can commonly just climb. I'm a fan of the being able to just run up the side of the wall feature in terms of movement in the game. It looks a lot more convenient and a lot faster of a way to get around than just sort of wall crawling. I say this only from the experience of a guy who's played only one Spider-Man video game in his life, and that was the 2002 movie tie-in video game for the original Xbox, and that was some of the slowest wall crawling movement that I've ever seen in a video game. I've seen plenty of playthroughs, but I've never actually played any of the other Spider-Man games, so running up the walls looks like a really fun addition to the game. But my anticipation for this game is really high. It has reignited my interest in Spider-Man as a character, and especially a playable character, but since it only comes out on the PS4, I'm kind of bummed about that. I'm an Xbox guy myself, but I'm thinking that this game might be one of the key reasons that I eventually end up getting one of the newer gen consoles, especially the PS4, because I know there are a lot of games that are available to the PS4 that are not available to the Xbox and vice versa, and Spider-Man coming out is definitely one of the main motivators for me potentially getting a PS4 at some point in the future. But all in all, Spider-Man looks amazing. I can't wait to play it. There look like so many new features and gadgets to be used in this game, and yeah, I just can't wait until it comes out. So the next gameplay trailer I want to talk about was the one for a video game called Days Gone. Now, if you haven't heard of Days Gone, I didn't even hear about it until about 2 days ago, but I watched the gameplay trailer for it. It's amazing. Now, Days Gone is a post-apocalyptic zombie survival game where you play as a mercenary bounty hunter who, in this post-apocalypse, goes around from camp to camp in these wilderness settings because humans have been forced out of their cities and are now living off the land. So if you haven't seen the gameplay trailer for Days Gone, I highly recommend you go see that. Otherwise, anything that I'm talking about is going to sound like gibberish. Now, in the Days Gone gameplay trailer, you start out tracking down a guy who, in this camp of survivalists, has been taken by another camp. So in this tracking down mission that we saw in the gameplay trailer, there are a combination of all the different elements of the game that I believe are going to come up quite a bit. There's the person-to-person combat system where you're fighting NPCs. It's basically just the same X, Y, this is this, and that is that combat system that we've seen in a lot of games. There's also a tracking feature in the game that allows you to investigate clues, find trails to people who've gone missing, or anything else. Since it takes place in the wilderness, I imagine that there's going to be a lot of tracking involved, tracking down animals for food or tracking down missing people. So I like tracking features myself in video games. They're a lot of fun, sort of searching down clues in that sort of manner. Another big part of Days Gone is the stealth feature. Now, since this takes place in a zombie post-apocalypse, sneaking and stealth are going to be main features since you don't want to get caught by zombies at any given time. It's similar to many of the Assassin's Creed games where stealth and sneaking involves going through bushes and undergrowth to avoid detection. Another element of the game is crafting, which you use obviously to create objects for your survival, such as traps or lures. Use bombs at some point. At least we saw one being used to attract the zombies, or as they're called in the game, freakers, to attack a group of enemy units. So you can get in and rescue your guy you're tracking. Now, I have never really been one for crafting items. I've usually just been one to pass over that in any games that I've been playing. But obviously the crafting in this looks really important, and as a fan of like zombie apocalypse franchises myself, I can see the crafting as an important element, and I think it may actually change my perspective on crafting. I might actually get involved in that process once the game comes out. However, Days Gone is also a PS4 exclusive, so that's just adding to the list of reasons I might actually get a PS4. So yeah, Days Gone and Spider-Man, definitely two reasons why I might get a PS4. I have to say I'm not as pumped or excited about Days Gone because I only heard about it 2 days ago. However, I am fairly interested in it, so I'm going to go probably get it anyway, just for the sake of seeing it, like see what the gameplay is like, see what's on it, what the storyline is, everything like that. So the last game I want to talk about that has really caught my interest coming out of E3 this year would be Assassin's Creed Origins. It's the latest installment in the long and sometimes questionable Assassin's Creed series, and I am totally pumped about this one. Assassin's Creed Origins takes place in ancient Egypt at the founding of the Assassin Brotherhood. It involves a lot of new elements that we haven't seen in the Assassin's Creed games before, such as a shield used in combat, but it keeps the combat system fairly much the same. You got your short-range weapons like your hidden blade and your swords. You have your long-range weapons such as your bows, spears. A new element that I saw in the trailer that came out of E3 is that in this game you have an eagle that you carry around with you that you can use to scout out areas, basically be your eyes in any situation environment that you can't enter without getting caught. So I like that feature. It's a nice new element. It'll definitely help like scouting out areas ahead for missions. Visually, the scale of this game looks off the charts. Since it takes place in ancient Egypt, there's a lot of monumentalist architecture that's going on with the pyramids, the lighthouse at Alexandria. So visually, I have to say it's going to be a lot more stimulating to me than any of the other AC games so far, because ancient Egypt is actually one of my favorite periods of history. So to see this in a video game, like in a historical context, and as an Assassin's Creed game, it's pretty exciting for me. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to the visual, and this will be available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, much as with the rest of the AC games. The thing about the Assassin's Creed games that I feel I have to say at this point is most people have sort of gotten tired of their formulaic use and how they just seem to be repeating the same story over and over again, Assassins versus Templars. The thing that I think that Assassin's Creed Origins is going to change about that is simply because it takes place in ancient Egypt, which historically is before the founding of the Templars. So for this game, I think they're going to give the Assassins a new enemy to fight instead of the Templars. They may be similar in their structure, but in the gameplay trailer they are referred to as the Masked Ones. So maybe a new enemy, maybe just a sort of precursor to the Templars. I don't know. But either way, I think it's going to be a lot more interesting than a lot of the other AC games. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the AC series. I love playing them. Assassin's Creed 3 is still my favorite. I'll have no shame in saying that. But I have to say, Assassin's Creed Origins looks pretty amazing, so I'm going to have to go with that as my third and final interesting video game gameplay trailer that came out of E3. If you haven't seen the gameplay trailers for Assassin's Creed Origins, Days Gone, or Spider-Man, definitely go check those out. They're amazing. They may not blow your mind, but they blew mine, so I'm super pumped about these games. And I believe that's everything that I have to say for this video. Don't forget, videos every weekend. Like and subscribe. May or may not be changing up my schedule to include a video every Saturday and Sunday instead of Saturday or Sunday. So keep those in mind, and I'll see you guys next weekend. See ya.